Alright, are we live? I believe we are live, so I'm gonna start just a little bit early, just a minute early. Okay. Let's see if I can't spread some of these. Let's see, right here. Just gonna double check the stream. Okay, looks good. Just a little bit of upkeep for now. And here. And over here. I'll post it here too. Should be good. Alright, time to share this on Twitter. Okay, so looks like we are all set. Yeah. Alright, I don't know if anyone's going to be watching this stream right now, but if you are, then welcome. This is going to be a little multiple hour session of me recording some gameplay and sort of doing a little stream, a little review of this game as well. So, let's jump into Roman's Christmas. This is a little mystery visual novel game. So there are plenty of other mystery visual novel type games out there. You may have heard of them, like 999 and Ace Attorney. Yeah, Phoenix Wright. Yeah. So I guess these are going to be similar to this in vein. These are going to be a similar vein to this. That's what I meant to say. Okay, so this game is originally in Chinese, but there is an English language option, so I'm going to stick to that. There's no voice acting, so I'm going to probably start reading out the dialogue to you guys. And we're all set, actually. Yes, so just want to say hello to my one viewer, or however many there are. I'll go ahead and give some more details about my plans on heading over to Taiwan, actually, a little bit later. But for now, let's get started on this game. So, let's start. As mentioned in the description, this is a review copy. So, this is a request from the developer of the game for me to stream and review this game. So, let's start. The snow stopped. The detective pushed open the heavy gates of the snow-covered tavern. He went on the same way he came here, stepping on the snow-buried stone pavement. December 1st, 35th, 30... I cannot read right now. Day 1, 23rd of December, year 1285. It's Christmas in 2 days, as well as the end of my fast. Though it's nice to feast on Christmas, I still cannot bear the 1 month fast. A whole month without any means of meat for a wolf would certainly turn him into a hare. So we've got some species dynamics here. You know, like Beastars and Zootopia and all that. Next time I will not fast for a month. Next time I will not fast for a month in exchange for solving cases. Luckily, that case closed just before it ruined my vacation at Tavern White Star. And I won't let any sorts of cases interrupt my vacation. Wink. Not even murder. Oh no. I tightened my fur coat. Interesting how a furry needs a fur coat. Then continued to walk towards the distant tavern in the cold breeze. When the warm breath coming out of me got frozen again on my snort, I finally saw the sign of White Star. I wonder why the tavern keeper won't move to a better place. Without their excellent cider, a tavern far from downtown wouldn't last a year. Oh, we got an achievement already. Yeah. The door hinge creaked as I pushed the door I'm not going to make fun of any English grammatical errors or any weird sounding phrases, because this is like an overseas Chinese team trying to translate into English, and I know that's usually kind of difficult sometimes. I only make fun of people who do like poor grammar in English if they're already English native speakers and not have like a disability or anything. Because like, you know, you should know better. A warm scent consists mostly of fireplace, bacon, and wheat bread in Circle V. Just glad they have wheat bread. You know, gotta do that healthy choice there. On the wall hang several well-painted portraits of white-furred dragons. And look at you. Haven't seen you for a while. What would you like to have today? Sarzan? Sarzan? Huh, that's an interesting name. Sarzan was dusting one of his precious portraits when I came into the tavern. He halted a bit, then continued his work. Why does he, as an azure dragon coated with scales, love white-furred dragons so much? Maybe I'll never know. Same as usual, but I'm still in a fast that wouldn't break until the day after. Got it. Sarzan put down the duster, rubbed his hand with the cloth on the counter, grabbed a beer mug, and headed towards the cellar. I hang my coat on the hat stand. Not a coat stand, though. Sat beside the fireplace to warm myself up. Oh, we have our bard right here. What a coincidence to meet you here. What about buying me a drink to celebrate this moment? Anzox heard me and came up to me from the corner, bringing his lute with him. So, alright, this is clearly more medieval fantasy based. He's a bard, yet without a lord to support his artistic career. Same. He is also into that detective stuff, you know, quote unquote. Though I doubt if he has the necessities of being a detective. Nowadays he travels between taverns to earn his living, while hoping some overlords to support him. Oh, what a coincidence. I'm so flattered that you still remember me. I need to slow down a bit. Alright, hold on. I'm so flattered that you still remember me, Roman, the great detective. I would never forget a guy who misled me every time, when possible. Not on purpose, but impressive still. Of course I do. You left such an impression of me last time when I was trying to solve the case of... Please stop it, I'm really sorry for that! I do like it when a visual novel has good visual timing like that. And Zox fled, carrying his loot. Great. Saved a pint for myself. It's almost dinner. However, no other customers came. Is it because of the heavy snow? I'm starting to feel thirsty after staying by the fireplace for too long. What kept Sars... I never know how to pronounce that name, I'm sorry. Sarzan. Yeah, there we go. What kept Sarzan from bringing up the booze? I looked around and saw a guy covered in choir robe and veil. Choir robe, okay. Wearing an Omega cross. No, that's not Omega. What symbol is that? Wearing a specific cross around the neck. Wait, it's not Sigma. It is an Omega. I'll look it up later. Oh, that kind of choir robe. The candlelight wouldn't lighten his figure. His mug of cider is left untouched. Who in the heavens is this? Why the disguise? Hasn't he heard of the saying, do in Rome as Rome does? It's an interesting paraphrase. Sarzan came up from behind the counter, handed me a mug along with a script. What's a script? That is elegant. If you find out anything regarding her, do keep it to yourself. Wait, is this dialogue or... Oh, he gave him like a little note. And it said, do something about her. Wait, what is her? Whatever, I've seen Stranger Things. I know how mind powers work. Gulp. I shoved the script up my sleeve, drank a gulp of cider, and purposely made a huge burp. I can't actually burp on command, so I'll just leave that to your imagination. Alright, that's a nice fireplace sound. I sat by my usual chair, enjoying myself in the quiet and familiar atmosphere. I can feel myself warming up as we speak. Looks like we're the only 3 customers here tonight. Logs in the fireplace were making tiny crackling sound. Sarzan sat behind the counter, reading the cookbook his father left him, and Zox was playing lute. Elegant went upstairs a little while ago. Maybe I will consider living here after retire. If White Star keeps its comforting atmosphere till then. Come to think of it, what could I do to kill the time before dinner is served? I brought a brochure called A Brief History of Apollyon with me to do some reading during my vacation. Okay. I guess we're gonna have a little history lesson before getting into the actual mystery. Although I don't really need such a book to deepen my cognition of Apollyon, the country I belong. I could also check out White Star's Christmas special menu. I'm still fasting, but a glimpse of a good menu and a little bit of imagination wouldn't bother. Maybe I'll just nap it out. I could use a good nap after losing sleep for almost a month. Man, detectives got that hard work. What do I do before dinner? One of these options is not me time. I don't know, should I do like a save point right here? Here's what the save screen looks like, by the way. Excellent. Let's see what clues we have. Alright, good. And characters. Right, so since this is a detective mystery kind of a game, we have like little character bios, information about all the people we've met so far, and we also have a little section for clues, but we don't have any clues yet because the mystery hasn't started yet. I'm curious which of these will give us like the juicier direction. I guess we'll learn more about Apollyon. Might as well do some serious reading. I took out A Brief History of Apollyon book I walked off from a crime scene from my bag. Does that not count as like stealing evidence? That's an interesting detail. It's a brochure printed with movable type painting. No, movable type printing. It's a brochure printed with movable type printing, distributed among citizens of Apollyon. The king believes that the more citizens know about our history, the more loyal they become. Thus, he rewarded the minister who invented the technique and built 3 machines to print these brochures without stopping. Alright, so that's kind of like the printing press, I guess. I'm just gonna give 1 second, actually. I'm curious if the developer's actually awake right now. He's over in mainland China, and there's like a half a day, like, time zone difference. Go ahead and send him the link. Hold on. Will be archived later. Right. Although those brochures handed out at the ghettos turned out to be good material for starting a fire, quality toilet paper too. Yeah, what you gonna do? Nevertheless, it's good to have free stuff. A brief history of Apollyon. For the great Helios II, Helios II. For the great Helios II, may God bless him and his subject. May the sun shines upon this glorious land forever. Apollyon, the country we live in, was established by the father of Helios II, Helios I, the pioneer. On the 4th of misclicked there. On the 4th of September, 1169. Nice. An earthquake endangered many lords' reign. God chose Helios I, the pioneer, to execute the divine wrath and destroy those lords who led blasphemous lives. Okay, interesting. Helios I, the pioneer, together with his loyal soldiers of various species, built Apollyon starting from Rinth, our glorious capital. Helios I noticed the hatred and discrimination spread between species. Thus, he ordered that all species in Apollyon be equal. Alright. On the 1st of September, 1230, Helios II ascended after Helios I's demise. Whoa. Whoa, it's dragon. Sarzin came out of the kitchen and brought me smoked herring and pale ale. Oh, thanks. That's almost meat, huh? Pity I can't serve you clams in this cold weather. At least it's better than carrots. If herrings are sold out, I'll have to serve you carrot stew. Bon appetit. Gulp. He turned back to the kitchen and brought Anzox a and brought Anzox a lamb stew. I'm jealous. I am jealous. Elegant went downstairs, hasted a bit, and sat at a corner table. She glimpsed at me. Hold on. Oh, I failed to find out she is a woman. Alright. Hard to tell sometimes with the completely covered in clothing kind of a look, especially with the veil. She glimpsed at me. I quickly looked the other way. Chapter 0, Christmas Carol. Throwing darts. So there seems to be some sort of casino theme elements in here as well. With the throwing dice and throwing darts. Well, I mean, both of those can be seen at, like, some sort of gambling parlors and such, right? That's my guess. After dinner, I sank into a rocking chair near the stove and drowsed off as usual. I like that phrasing, actually. The pine wood, which was rich in rosin, the fire burst into slightly oh, the pine wood is in the fireplace, right? The pine wood, which was rich in rosin, in the fire burst into slight exploding sounds from time to time. Boom, 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 boom. Well, I know it's supposed to be crackling, but exploding kind of sounds a little bit dangerous. And the single component in the position of tenon joint also made a voice in rhythmic swingings. Not that much people came to the tavern this month. Zarzan brought a chair and sat down by my side, gazing at the fireplace. You'll be overwhelmed by the number of customers in a few days, just like the former years. I always feel this year might be a little different, though. Can't really tell why. I'm just gonna double check my viewers so far. How many do I have? Just the one? There's some community engagement. Indeed, the wind is stronger recently, but not strong enough to affect business. Huh? And Zox heard our conversation, came over from the other side with his lute. Such wind is unable to stop gluttons' hunger for delicacy. After all, the dishes from Zarzan are incomparable delicious. They are incomparable delicious. Even if you adulate on my cooking skills, I won't give you any discount. I won't give you a discount. Let alone any discount. You're using some fancy words here. Adulate? Yeah. That's my sincere words of praise! I wouldn't mind a discount, of course. In White Star, there are usually some uncertain. You see, my brain processes things at a different speed than my mouth speaks sometimes. That's just the trouble you have sometimes in life. So, in White Star, there are usually some uncertain forms of entertainment provided for the guests who live overnight or stay up late to kill time. Every Saturday evening has a darts competition. Well, that's what the darts are for. If inspectors don't come here on weekends and all the guests are acquaintances, Zarzan would cover tables with blue flannel for a round of wager or two. Is that what they call chips? Gambling? The snow was so heavy for inspectors to come. I elbowed Zarzan quietly and tipped him a wink. Wink. No, tonight. He pointed to Elegant, whispering to me with one hand over his mouth. Well, after all, we don't know her that much. So, might as well find a safer form of amusement. Call me down if you think of other activities. I still have a lot of things to do. What do you want to do tonight? Having no idea now. I mean, don't we all? We could talk to the cat or listen to some music. If I were a mystery game developer and I wanted to create a series of dramatic events. Now, the thing is, if I pick one of these options, will I have the other option up later? Because it didn't before. Like, this seems like an actual fork in the road rather than here's a list of things you can do in order. Because if I don't talk to the cat, the mystery cat, then she might run away and do something mysterious. If I don't listen to the dragon loot, something might happen to him. Who do I care about more? As a detective, let's go for the mystery. By the way, I don't know Elegant very well. I'll ask her quietly when Anzox didn't notice. What is she holding? Is she holding something right now? I walked toward the round chair which she was sitting by. Then I introduced myself while taking a chair out from under the table, gently. Hello, I'm Roman. I waited for Elegant to reach out for a handshake. Oh, so they do handshakes in this universe. But it seems she didn't want to, so my right hand was half stretched out in the air, awkwardly. Yeah, I've been there. What does her voice sound like? I don't want to give her like a stupid voice or anything, because this is like a serious character. Hello. No. Hello. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not interrupting you. She nodded to give me the hint to sit where. She nodded to give me the hint to sit when I'm about to push the chair back and leave this awkward conversation. The lake blue eyes. Usually it's ocean blue eyes. Lake blue eyes, alright. Looked up and down at me under the veil. As a detective, used to observing others, I'm not comfortable being scrutinized by such sharp eyes. You're on good terms with the owner here, aren't you? That's true, but how can you tell? The way you pass information is too obvious. How? I suddenly felt as if I were naked. And viewers, as far as you can tell, I could be naked right now, just because I don't have my webcam on. Oh well, that's just for you to know. And all my secrets were exposed before her eyes. Alright. Don't be nervous. I don't care about those details. Who doesn't have a few informers, not to mention you detectives? I didn't notice until now. I was involuntarily biting my left thumb. Uh-oh. Don't bite your thumb at her. That's a rude gesture. Although I've tried to avoid it since I'm a child, I still can't get rid of it when I'm nervous. No need to be polite. Just tell me why you came to me. Ah. Alright. Relieved, I unclenched my fist and took out my handkerchief to wipe the sweat from the pad. Oh, that's right, because animals sweat from their paw pads, not from their foreheads. Actually, I came here to ask of your gender. But we know it's a girl. What race are you? May I ask your race is, it's a cat. Can't you see? Or is it our detective too drunk to see? The bright blue eyes under the veil reveal a trace of mockery, as cats usually do, which, like an urchin, managed to deceive the teacher without his homework. That's an interesting metaphor, or simile. Shame on me. At this moment, Anzoc suddenly came up. Deepening in conversation already. I came here to have a look, because I'm afraid you guys have nothing to say. No need to worry. I heard a puzzle in a tavern from another town. Are you guys interested? Sorry, we are kind of in the middle of... What's the puzzle? Elegant seems to get interested. Very interested. Taking the mug and sitting down with Anzoc by the fire. Are we gonna play the puzzle game again? I can't tell if that's like excitement or just like, are we doing this again? Tarzan just finished cleaning the kitchen and came by to sit by the fire. Yes, you came in just in time. I'm not really in the mood. But if I leave them, I'm gonna seem like such a loser. Wouldn't want that. Fireside chats. Wonder how many achievements there are. Actually, let me go ahead and check the Steam page. See how many achievements there are for this game. Let's see. 50. Alright. 50 achievements for this little mystery game. Alright. I kind of always wonder how you do achievements, like, properly. Like, make it so that it's not just, like, unnecessary or, like, too many. I wonder what's, like, the right amount and, like, the right amount of spots. Especially for this kind of game. You have nothing to do. You have nothing to do anyway. You can just sit. You can just listen and let us solve the puzzle. Now, is this a puzzle as in like a puzzle game or just like a riddle? I'd better do it by myself then, leaving it to you guys. I better do it by myself than leave it to you guys. Let's start then, Anzoc. I keep wanting to call him Annex. That's not his name. Anzoc cleared his throat, stroking the lute. Oh, should I bring an instrument for immersion? Nah. I have many stringed instruments, but I don't know. At one night, the only windmill in town stopped spinning. This is the first time in this small town in more than 30 years, as the main source of income of the town is wheat. From afar, the villagers saw fan blades of the windmill no longer rotated. They thought that the sun, wind, and snow could break the transmission shaft. Is that... Okay, I'm not actually sure how a windmill actually works. They thought that the sun, wind, and snow could break the transmission shaft of the windmill, almost all of them making a living on that mill. Almost all of them made a living on that mill, so they rushed to check it hastily. The villagers came to the mill on the thick snow over their ankle. It was ankle-high snow. So it doesn't actually snow that much down here in Texas. Thankfully so, because I hate cold weather. The dark wooden mill towered in the endless snow. The windmill was turned to an ominous, yeah, that's the word. The windmill was turned to an ominous position, looking like an inverted cross. Okay. Oh, sorry. Hi, Sherbert. Yeah, good to see Sherbert Shenanigans on here. Congrats on, like, all the stuff that's going on with your show, by the way. I saw it on Twitter earlier this morning. I retweeted it. I followed the, all that stuff related to it. Looks good. So anyway, let's dive back into, let's see, how much have you been, watching the stream, actually? Let me go ahead and ask. The windmill was turned to an ominous position looking like an inverted cross, which is interesting because an inverted cross is like tall, like a T. So inverted would be like if the windmill was flipped around. Okay. Get to the point. We want the puzzle, not your cheap trick story. Yeah, we don't want to hear about your story with epic rock band Cheap Trick. Elegant tapped impatiently on the table with her fingertips, while the Zarzan, sitting aside, listened attentively. Alright. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so, this is actually a mainland Chinese-made little visual novel mystery story kind of a game. So, it has been translated into English. I'm not going to make fun of the English too much that's been translated, because I know translating's kind of a difficult job sometimes, especially if you're not, like, being paid professionally for it. So, let's go ahead and continue here. You won't pay me anyway, so just sit and listen. As they were getting closer, they found the maintenance basket of the windmill was tied with hemp rope, which is to ensure safety, of course. Evidence. The miller. I'm not sure what a miller is. So, you're cutting off the dialogue box here. Not that big of a deal, but I could still kind of read it. If you could just scooch that up just a little bit towards the top, that would make this dialogue a little bit easier to read. Just a little tip to the developer. Also, wait a minute. No, I'll talk about that later. The miller was hanged in the middle of the air with his head down. Uh-oh. Someone got hanged. His eyes were wide open in consternation. What does consternation mean again? Alright. His paws were stiff and hanging down, approximately the same level with the edge of the windmill blades, the snow from yesterday scattered on his cold body. I think he did. Yep, corpse. Who is... Okay. I'm not... Alright. I'm going to focus on the game. I know you're kind of chuckling to yourself in the comments there. Let's see. Ironically, the thing to ensure safety became a deadly weapon. No one could imagine that. Deadly. Wait. Did the safety rope really cause the death of the miller? Oh, miller as in like the person who works at the windmill. I get it now, yeah. What's wrong, the great Detective Roman? After all, the safety rope was tied to the dead. Yes, but... Why couldn't the safety rope be the murder weapon? Which is a good okay. Hold on. Clues. So we have a safety rope tied to the miller on the maintenance basket. He was hanging upside down, his hands level to the windmill's blades. Oh, so the miller's body was more like an inverted cross, I guess. Okay. I'm going to guess, if he was upside down, that it was tied to his ankle? Yeah, it can't be deadly if it's tied to the ankle. Is it like the bungee jumping that sailors bring back from overseas? I'm curious how old of a concept bungee jumping is, actually. That's a good question. Certainly, the safety rope must tie to the ankle or waist. Considering the position of the body, the only possible way was tied to the ankle. You are right, but there must be something that killed the miller. That's the question we were about to discuss. Go on then. Like that, the miller, dead, strangely on his closest companion, the windmill. The detective in the town made an initial interference that the old miller was repairing the windmill when he was drunk. As you do. Clear OSHA violation, by the way. The miller could accidentally have slipped and fell from the basket, but the cause of death was still unclear, which might be he hit his head on the windmill. Or his head would hit the windmill. First deduction. Alright. The best detective around is invited by the villagers to investigate the scene. He's an old-style detective. He wouldn't come for less than 13 rayar. I guess that's their currency, rayar. And all trips allowances. 13 rayar? That's 910 sate. Yeah, that's a lot, I guess. Yeah. For only one case, he could eat a whole month's fried lamb chops if he hasn't vowed to fasting for a month. When I can have such payment. When can I have such payment? Can't you? I thought you were worth the price. And Zox wanted to laugh. He held back under my glare. Look, we all gotta get that bread. Or lamb chops in this case. When the townsfolk came to his humble residence, he was playing with the prism bought from the capital market behind his heavy desk. Sunlight from the small window passed through the lens and scattered just 7 colors of light. Well, So it's a prism, it's a rainbow. So it's 7 kinds of shaded areas. Like, it's not just 7 colors, it's 7 sections where they're all faded into each other. That's how a rainbow works. Just want to mention that if you want to get this game later and play it, it is available on Steam. I believe it's only like $10 or $15. If you don't like the English translation, learn Chinese. I mean, that's simple, right? After listening to the villager's narration, the detective struggled to get up from the easy chair. With crutches, then asked his only servant to call the carriage. This is one of the few field investigations of them. Of him or for him? Okay. On the one hand, the description of the scene is not detailed enough. On the other hand, it's also a bizarre case. The biggest problem is that the glib bard can't grasp the key point. Glib. I like the word glib. Well, how about you tell it? The sudden interruption made Anzox blush with anger, which you can clearly see on his face. It's fine. The unimportant details would make the story more vivid. I guess that's true. The next day after the murder, the detective arrived at the town in the afternoon. He learned from the gossip in the tavern that on the night of the miller's death, 2 people also spent the night in the mill, but they all had alibis. Who is it? The one is the miller's daughter. The other is his apprentice. They spent the night in the mill as usual. I know I'm kind of not reading the exact, writings. It's just, I don't know, for some reason, I kind of do my own spin on things. It just reads easier in my mind that way. I'm not trying to make fun of, the writing or anything. Oh, hello. Yeah, we have a whole 3 or 4 viewers this time. That's a good number. That's about as much as I get usually. Hope you're all enjoying the stream so far. About those 2 people, I want to know about Would the daughter intentionally try to kill her dad, or would the apprentice try to kill the superior? Or there's no need to know. But I do think there is. Let's go with the mill option. What about the miller's apprentice? The name of the apprentice is Hans. He came to that's already the name of a brochure already. You've seen Frozen. He came to the mill from the next town 8 years ago. At this time, he was just 10 years old. If it was not for the living, no parents would be so cruel. That's deep. That's so deep. Fortunately, the miller treated him well. The apprentice was also very clever. He would do the best he could. He would do the best he can, whatever the miller ordered. I would also like to know about the daughter. Elena, the miller's daughter. She's 16 years old, a gray wolf, having many pursuers in town, including several local nobles. Oh, she's a hottie wolfie. Woo! But she's only 16, so that's weird. It isn't the only attribute to her father's wealth, but also owes to her beauty. She became the dream girl for every bachelor in the tavern since she was 14 years old. Also kind of weird. I don't know what the age of consent in Apollyon is. Exactly, yeah, no, stop that. She had a good relationship with her father, at least other outsiders thought they had. Ooh, little detail there. Recently, there's a rumor that she had a close relationship with the miller's apprentice. Let me think. Love? Okay. Alright. The miller's daughter seems to have a special bond with the miller's apprentice. Yeah. Nothing to that. Let's see. Slipped and fell from the hanging basket when repairing the mill. Cause of death is unknown. Maybe his head struck the mill. Go on, please. I have to say, those two brought my interest. Please, go on. What about the miller's reputation? The miller? He was a good man in the town who has lived in the town all his life without any enemies. His wife died of, some kind of fever. Puerperal. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. Shortly after she gave birth to Elena, and he has lived as an old bachelor ever since. I think you mean older. I think you mean widow. Old bachelor. I guess that kind of applies. Okay. Not gonna make fun of that translation. Sorry. He had several drinking friends who would meet. Let me try reading that again. He had several drinking friends who he would meet with in the pub almost every night after supper, drinking and talking until the tavern closed. Sounds like some of the tavern's regulars. In the tavern, the detective was also provided with additional hearsay. The miller had been extremely generous these days, and one day he even treated the people in the tavern a round of ale. Being extremely generous days before you die. I mean, that could be suicide. Just a guess. That's all from the information about the included persons. The detective had heard enough gossip of the noisy drinkers in the tavern. Walking towards the mill, within 10 minutes, the detective arrived at the mill. What a clear and windless morning. Yeah, what a clear and windless morning. The snow at the gate of the mill hadn't been swept up by the overzealous villagers. The detective relieved and cautiously checked the snow from the outside. Ooh, nice map. Okay, so unexpectedly clean the snow was. Apart from the footprints left by the villagers who found the corpse in the outer circle, and the footprints that went all the way to the front of the house, seen here, there's nothing except some messy traces in front of the last footprints. So maybe he just got swooped off his feet. It seems that there is no shortcut to go. The detective put on his hat and came to the mill door. He glanced down by accident before entering the door. Whoop. Accidentally looked down. There seems to be a circular imprint around the last footprint of the door. And the stone used to hold the door had also been moved. So, yeah, looking closer to a whole group planned thing, whether the miller was involved or not. Purple fever. All right. All right. Stepping into the house, the detective met Elena, who was hiding her face and crying, and Hans, who was trying to comfort her. No, not trying. He was comforting her. Yeah. The body of old Miller was still hanging on the windmill, shaking like a pendulum in the wind. Do you want to listen to their testimony first, or go straight to the scene? I guess well, if we hear the testimony first, that might give us some bias on what we should look for. So, I think we should look at all the clues along the scene first, then listen to the testimony to fill in the blanks. Huh. She didn't like that. For some reason, she's just giving me the grumpy eyes. The villain is always Hans. Yes, I know. Well, don't you want to ask Elegant for advice? After all, ladies first. Although her appearance is difficult to... for the fierce look upon Elgon's veil, like a sharp arrow flew straight to Anazox. Like an arrow just... right to his head. His little dumb dragon head. Sorry, he's not dumb. He'd be well advised to shut up. The detective went up the stairs to check out the scene of the death. He handed over a piece of paper with a sketch on it. Oh, that's just the head upside down, I guess. Yeah, that is not an inverted cross. Not really. The mill is divided into 3 floors, I should say, and is about 5 people tall. Each floor is 5 people tall? Okay. No, the whole thing is 5 people tall. Okay, so, yeah. Between the maintenance basket on the 3rd floor and the window on the 2nd floor is the connecting shaft between the fan blade and the mill. The maintenance basket is extremely narrow and long. Width is about 1 step for adults of ordinary stature. There was a layer of snow on it, but no footprints. 2 ropes were tied at the railing of the basket. The left part was covered with snow like other parts of the railing, and there was no snow on the right part. The part on the right. I'll have to double check the clues for that. Alright. The other on the right without. Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's a small window. There's a small window mill, but yeah. It works. It does its job. The detective leaned against the railing and looked up. Under the wooden railing hung the cold body of the miller. The rope on the left has only a section of the rope head, floating in the wind like a peddler who dare not go home without money. Okay. And that's like moved up. I wonder if that was done before or during the investigation. He tried to lean out. The railing creaked under his heavy pressure. Uh-oh, he's about to fall. The snow fell from the inclined railing, falling and disintegrated in the air. At the time, the detective's biological instinct broke out. His hair couldn't help to... His hair stood up on the back of his neck. That's how I'm going to read that. Alright. He dodged aside quickly, turned to check the situation at the entrance of the basket, putting his right hand into the pocket under his coat, and grasped the dagger he used to deal with various dangers. As per usual in a fantasy setting, gotta have your knife on ya. It's a gift from his first love. Man, when are we gonna go back to our chivalrous ways? When daggers and knives were a sign of love. First love, I should say. Every time he holds the dagger reminds him of the temperature of her palm that day. It was a cool, regular body temperature. Are we listening to a love story or something? Please! One elegant is enough! The detective turned around and found nothing behind him. He went downstairs quietly and found that the 2 of them remained where they were, as if they have not moved. He went back to the second floor and looked up from the window. On the top of his head is the rotating shaft of the window mill blade, which is rubbed shiny and black in the daily rotation. Rubbed shiny black. I guess, like, that's just how they do their maintenance. The shadow cast by the rotating axis hit the detective's face, which gave him a very uncomfortable feeling, like his prehistoric ancestors' uncontrollable shudder facing giant beasts. The gears of the windmill are exposed about 30 centimeters away from the upper eaves of the window. Hold on. I just had to blow my nose, sorry about that. The gears of the window are exposed about 30 centimeters away from the upper eaves of the window. The triangular teeth are distributed around the rotating shaft. The detective put his hand into his coat pocket and stroked the prism gently. Something came to his mind. The detective looked out the window again. The lowest gear group seemed to be more worn than the others. He went back to the first floor, passing by the living room and straight into the kitchen. The oven seemed to have been used recently, and the kitchen was a mixture of the pungent smell of charcoal — ooh, they're doing some barbecue there — and the delicious grain smell of barley bread. How do you barbecue barley bread? He opened the oven and flicked the ashes with a stick. The shape of a piece of charcoal under the ashes reminded him of the prism in his pocket. Like, you know, a wedge. So something wedged right here. Maybe it wedged against that lower part of the... what was it? So there was a Cuneian coal in the oven. The lowest notch is badly worn, probably from the little charcoal wedge thing. Maybe. But the stone was also missing from the front door of the mill. Having gathered the necessary evidence, the detective backed to the living room to question the witnesses. Noticing the detectives came to them, Elena sat upright with Hans's help, her eyes drooping. She was dressed in a light blue nightdress. Her eyes were red and swollen, her facial hair was combed, but she was still in a hurry and was in a state of disorder. Interesting use of the word, of the phrase facial hair. Because, like, you know, these are furries. They have hair on their face, it's facial hair. But it's not what, like, you imagine actual facial hair would be like on a person. A couple of hard coughs. Unexpectedly, Anzov changed his voice to a young woman. Okay. I've heard so much about you, detective. No, I'm going into this. If he's gonna pretend to be Elena, I am too. I assume this visit is related to my father's death. How I wish you can sound so nice always. Nice burn. That's a good burn, dragon. It's really hard to speak like this. Come on. Show some of your dedication. It took the detective about 10 minutes to persuade the apprentice to go upstairs with his servant, lest the testimony of one of them affect the memory of the other. After some business greetings and preparations, the detective also asked her to tell the story of that night. Testimony. Yesterday after dinner, my father went to the tavern as usual. I need some water, actually.
It's about 8 o'clock after I finished my housework. It was about 2 hours before my father came back. I felt time is enough.
Time is usually always enough.
So I went to Hans's room and chatted with him. 2 hours passed by.
A lot of 2-hour marks here.
And we didn't realize it's the time that my father was about to come back. To return. It wasn't until about 11 o'clock that we found the times too late. I hurried downstairs thinking my father was quietly sitting in the living room, ready to scold me. But he wasn't there. The door was closed and no one was in the living room. The ominous premonitory,
that's how you pronounce that.
The ominous premonitory sneaks in from the crack of the door like a snake. I can hear rubber that evil idea.
Where did I get it? Oh, rubbing. I skipped a line.
I can even hear that evil idea crawling on the ground with the sound of scales rubbing against the floor. I don't know if it's because of the wind. The door on that day is more difficult to open than usual. I pushed the door open and the wind rolled the snow into the house.
I don't usually do falsetto. Sorry.
I held the door and got out of the mill, snowing heavily. When I got under the windmill.
Oh my god, if I can stop doing the voice cracks. No, it kind of fits in character though.
A strange thought was like an itch on the back of the neck. I couldn't be scratched, and I couldn't help but look up. On the top of my head was a purple face that was swollen and swaying in the wind.
Yeah, purple like being choked around the neck, I guess. Yeah. No, wait, he was hanging by his ankles. So maybe the blood rushed to his head, I guess? Maybe.
His eyes were as prominent as goldfish.
So he was choked. That's...
Saliva flowed down the open mouth causing the excess fright. Because of the excess fright.
Yeah, because of the excess fright.
And condensed into turbid ice between his hair. I was frightened, so I rushed back to the house and closed the door. That night, every time I closed my eyes, that stunned face would pop up. I still can't believe that man is my father.
Alright, now I can stop doing the voice. Elena collapsed on the sofa, with her hands covered in her face after recalling the horrible memory. At this time, the detective smelled something fishy in her testimony. After thorough thought of her testimony, and the detective found the irreconcilable contradiction between the testimony and the evidence. Now, let's see here. So after dinner, the miller went to the pub. Elena went to Hans to the chat for 8 to 11. When she went and she saw the miller, she was so frightened that she shut the door. Let's go here. Safety rope. Body hanging upside down. Yeah. If it was hanging upside down, would it like seem like he would choked for air or something? That is curious. Love. No, I can't go right into that. Footprints. In front of the land of jumble of tracks, circular imprints, stone used to halt the gate. Have been moved. Now that's consistent. 8-meter tall building. That's not very big, and they use this as like their main source of income. There's a connecting shaft from the window's blade, which is slightly higher. It's very narrow and long. No footprints. 2 pieces of rope tied to the railing. 30 centimeters from the eaves. Wait, was it shut when they came there? Yeah, the stone for the gate for easy access had been moved. Let's start with that. It's too fishy. It's far fishier than you. For real? Why am I fishy? You're distracting others with that nonsense. Alright, I guess that's not it. Body had no wounds. Maybe accidentally slipped and fell from the hanging. Oh. Maybe that. Take a look. It's a breakthrough of the case, I think. Why a breakthrough? Because, okay. I'm just gonna keep... Alright, so it's not gonna, like... Hold on. Let me read through her actual testimony again. It said... Contradiction between the testimony and the evidence. Went to the tavern as usual. Oh, 2 hours and then 2 hours. The math doesn't add up, doesn't it? Okay. Well, okay. Corpse position. It's the position of the body. He shouldn't have seen the head if the body is head down. Yeah, that's okay. I think that's what I was getting at. I just couldn't find the right clue. Elena was on the first floor and the body was head down. What else could she see but the head? Well, not really? What? Okay. Well, that was close. See, I've done that one. First deduction? Maybe this one. There was coal, wasn't there? A waiter with his appetite? My tavern surely wouldn't last a month. I'm leaving without checking out. Okay. I don't think I'm a good detective. Footprints. There we go. Yeah, because there was the real circular thing. The paradox is no other footprints were on the scene. It was said earlier that the only series of footprints of the site reached the gate to the mill. Since Elena had gone out, she will certainly leave her footprints as well. Although, I don't know how she did it. Elena must have concealed something. As for the reason, we can only go on with the inquiry. Remember, contradiction can't just be based on conjecture. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but okay. The detective tidied his sleeves and imperturbably, not gonna try that again, pointed out the mistakes in Elena's testimony. As I recall, did Miss Elena just say she went out to check? Yes. Then why was there only one string of footprints from the outside of the house to the gate of the mill?
Well, I must have been so scared that my memory must have been confused. Let me start over.
Corrected. Oh. I can see that already.
Yesterday after dinner, my father went to the tavern as usual. I went upstairs for Hans to chat. 2 hours passed by and there's no sign for my father's return. I went downstairs around 11 and found that he had not come back. I opened the door and my father's distorted head appeared as the body swung outside. I was so scared that I ran back to the house and closed the door. The scene was so frightening that my memory was confused.
Of course it is, yeah.
That night, every time I closed my eyes, the stunned face would pop up. I couldn't sleep at all.
As long as a lie is told, more lies are bound to be used to cover up the lie. It's a pity that even the most talented people can't make up every lie perfectly, let alone under such pressure. Miss Elena, there's really no need to hide anything from me. Even the detective saw through the lies she made this time. Alright. What are you doing with Hans? Okay, I thought I had it there. Okay. Let's go through it again. It's a little bit shorter this time, so that's always good. Alright, well, corpse position, safety rope, risk reduction. How about that? We already did footprints. What's the circular imprint? I think the circular trace is suspicious. Yeah, you may be right, but it seems that this has nothing to do with the testimony. Then we may make a note of that in the next investigation. Yeah, thanks. This... It's probably not the coal. Is it gonna nick me for like how many wrong choices I take? I hope not. The gear? No. It's not the gear. The basket. Safety rope? Well, it's different this time. How could Elena see his head in the door since the miller's paws were even with the mill lathes? In this way, Elena saw what she should not have seen. It's only because she's actually out there and cleaned up the footprints when she came back. So her motivation for cleaning up her footprints is suspicious. You don't need to clean up your footprints if you're just a witness, right? Is it possible that he made a suspicious act just because of the flurry? Or that the whole scene of death she described was just in her head? It's possible, though. Fortunately, it's only a puzzle. If that's the real case, it can never be solved. What? I'm just confused. How long will it take for you to figure it out? Don't say it if you don't get your ideas in shape. As you said... Was that a mark against me? As you said, you saw the face of the dead in the door. This definitely is what she can't do in the current position of the dead. If he died naturally, the body would not move after death, would it? It's just,
I don't even know.
Elena screamed hysterically and ran out of the living room. It seemed that we couldn't get near her for a while, so the detective went upstairs to visit another witness, Hans. The detective saw Hans upstairs. He was wearing a soft hat, a burlap jacket, and brown linen trousers. The dark gray pupils under the brim made the detective uncomfortable for some reason. That kind of look reminded him of a colleague he met in another case several years ago. A werewolf. Ooh. With beautiful blue eyes, which also revealed a sense of unruly... Don't push it. Calm down, man. As soon as I got up, I was pressed back to my seat by the thick claws of Sarzan. He is still so sensitive about the conflict between customers. 5 years ago, someone was fighting in his shop. He grabbed a man with only one paw and threw him across the street. This even attracted more customers. I still don't know what's on their mind. Are they all masochists? And the detective noticed the hair on his hand seemed to be darker than elsewhere. The detective's face remained unchanged. He lowered his hat to cover his spying eyes. Mr. Hans. I hope you don't mind, I'm just doing my job. The detective sat on the wooden chair opposite Hans and handed his cane to the servant beside him. I would like to hear about what happened last night. So straightforward with my... what accent do I do with this? What did he sound like in Frozen? So straightforward, my detective. Well, I sure will try to do my best to... Testimony. Yesterday after dinner, like every ordinary night, the miller went to the pub to spend his time. Left Elena and I stayed in the mill to watch the house. Wait a minute. She said they went to the house and then came back to the mill. We stayed in the room until 11 o'clock, then found that Miller didn't come home as usual. Come back as usual. Elena went downstairs to check when I hurried back to my room. It wasn't long before I heard Elena screaming downstairs. She may have been screaming downwards, I don't know, and the sound of the door being slammed. I went downstairs and saw Elena, pale, slumped on the ground. I took her back to the room. She told me off and on about what she saw outside the door, and I stayed at her bedside all night to keep her company. Okay, small question. Alibi, the room, no moving around. Bang! Alibi? So what's the alibi of the two of them? Can't they prove each other's absence? What if they collude? It doesn't count for two people. It doesn't count for two people prove each other's absence. Is that so? Is there anything else suspicious? About the room. Their testimony is contradictory about the room. Obviously, their words seem to be a little subtle. It's different rooms. Elena says she went to Hans's room to chat with him, but in Hans's testimony, now it just seems to mention went back to my room. It may not be the same room. It seems that one of them forgot to prepare a testimony in haste. Mr. Hans, small question. It has nothing to do with the case. It's just out of the admirers of an old detective for the young lovers. In which room do you usually date in? What's your usual like hookup room? Where do you like to go hooky? Well, in Elena's room. In this case, it's Elena's testimony against yours. She told me that you two were in your room as usual. Oh, really? She may just be confused by the shock. Or was she so frightened that she forgot the words you agreed in advance? What are you talking about? I don't even know. What? Hans kept fiddling with his hands, and the fine bright beads of sweat moistened the soft hairs on his forehead. Oh, so they do. Okay. They do sweat from their head, I guess. Alright. His gray eyes avoided the eyesight of the detective. Okay. Huh? Please excuse me, Mr. Hans. It's just my conjecture after all. Okay. But I would not choose a partner who would easily become nervous if I were you. Oh, your hands would shake when you were nervous. Can you even grasp the rope with it? His actions are all in the eyes of the detective, and now he needs only a little physical evidence to prove his conjecture. The detective went out to the snowfield, and the body had been lowered from the windmill by the servant. The miller's body was spread in the snow. Anybody could see it. The detective looked at the body, which was sorted out, could not help to sulk. After reprimanding the man who moved the body, he investigated it himself. Search start. Please click the place you would like to investigate on the picture to collect evidence. This is a good... Okay. Wait a minute. First thing I see, chest. He put on his gloves, put aside the miller's coat, and revealed his thick fur. What? Look at this blood right here, is so good. He could touch the liquefying fat under the miller's skin. Interesting. The miller looks quite plump thanks to his wealthy life. Yeah, he's got that dad bod. Is this even related to the case? Well, but it's like different colored. Take your personal interest in the story. Hey, don't judge. Come on. Just look at those streaks there, man. Who knows? Maybe it is relevant somehow. Okay, fine. Foot. The miller's ankle is tied with safety rope. Cheap but reliable. The knot was a hangman's knot. Okay. That implies some sort of killing or suicide. He's gonna sell ropes now. I'm not a merchant. Okay. Where else? Okay, just, Alright, right there. No? Right there? The detective looks close at his face. He was scared by the dead's twisted face, though it wasn't his first time seeing a body. Also, his eyes aren't bulging out. His face isn't purple. The miller's wide eyes was getting cloudy and lifeless. His wrinkles were getting clearer due to the stiff facial muscle. His mouth stayed shut, but the silent fear still escaped from him. He was greatly frightened. The miller's hair remained fluffy with no sign of strangling. Hands? What? The detective looked at the curled... Why did it go there? That circled in the wrong spot. Found gray hair inside his nails, which matched his own color. Under the miller's fur on his chest, there were scratches. See, that's what I was originally getting at. But she shamed me for being horny, I guess. He got up and finished the search. Now he knows what's going on. And now, let's put the pieces back together. Wait. Still a lot of questions to be solved. Didn't you take notes for the evidence? Take a good look. Now, it seems like the main doubt in this case lies in the case of the miller's death. The weapon that killed him, whether he was murdered, and what's the killer's motive. The process about how the case happened is also noteworthy. When it is impossible to infer the sequence of events, we should focus on the factors that change with time, such as weather. Quick Q&A. Alright. This is an interesting interface. What do I do? Weapon. What's your opinion on the murder weapon? I'm gonna say stone. The stone against the door. It had been moved after all. It would also have been moved when opening the door. You're right. Wasn't there any trauma on the body? Should be at least one weapon. It wouldn't be a knife. Shock. Maybe it was an invisible weapon. Interesting. How about murdering him with the shock, which was caused by a sudden hang? Not everyone would be so easily scared as you, but everyone would be shocked if he or she is hung without any preparation, let alone the miller was drunk and his chubby figure. Indeed. Middle-aged chubby man may get sudden death because of external factors. You really didn't add the detail due to your own taste this time. Of course, every detail is necessary. So last time, why did you take nearly half an hour to describe the subject? Shh! 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 Okay. Method. Modus operandi. What is the process of the crime? Deductive reasoning. Arrange the occurrences chronologically. Fill every groove on the left side with one judgment. Okay. Huh. Okay, so we have a little poker thing going on. Actually, I do need to pause right now and, like, I need to take care of something right now. Hold on, gotta go to the toilet. Alright, I have returned, so let's get these in order. Okay, so oh, there's only space for 5. Yeah, so I'm thinking those two definitely belong. Did? Left a circular mark on the ground. That is interesting. Lifted the miller up in the air. Burnt down the wooden wedge. Well, there is that, but ran away. Would have been around the neck, lifting up in the air. you had to do 5? Drop the rope. Wait, burnt the wedge, drop the rope. There. One of the chips are in their position. It will help a lot if you arrange the use by time order. From top to bottom, then place your bet. Right. Okay. This might take a while. Okay, 2 of them are in the right spot. Okay, just 1 there. Alright, so just process of elimination. Yeah, I got it. You need to enter a pub before you order a cup of wine. As you can clearly see, enter a pub and order a cup of cider got their sequential order. Divide into groups. Sort events. Divide into groups, sort into groups, sort groups at last. Alright, yeah. Alright, so that doesn't work. Right here, though, no. This is not the way to do this, but this is the way that I do this. Yeah. Alright, good. What? Did it just give me the answer? A voice whispers 41627. God, it was tired of me messing up, so it just gave me the answer. Okay, yeah. I guess I took too many times. Seems about right. Such a lucky dog. Now then. Motive. Let's talk about the motive then. First of all, we have already known that the miller got along with the villagers, so what's the possible motivation? I'd say either of the last ones. The miller would not admit to the relationship between her daughter and the apprentice. You mean, to get rid of the miller, someone murdered him? It's unnecessary to kill him just because of the agreement, though. So that means something recently happened stimulated the criminal into murder urgently. Then the identity of the criminal is obvious. Even so, there's no need to kill them. Suspect. Who done it? Who is the criminal? I think it's obvious now. It is both of them. Joint crime. Yep, they share the common benefits, and the operation of the trap needs cooperation. Done. I guess that counts as a tutorial level thing towards the actual detective function. So it is kind of like Ace Attorney then. All right. Then the whole picture of the case is crystal clear. Oh, so I guess if you just take a nap and skip this whole thing, that's just like, you know, I already know how this game works. I don't need to do this. How come you're so excited since you weren't the one who solved the puzzle? I'm excited for you, okay? So the whole story of the case is... The miller is a nice guy, but, in particular, picky about his daughter's marriage, especially against her relationship with the apprentice. But it couldn't stop their love from growing. Two young people seized every moment they got to be together. Eager to be open to the public, they couldn't bear the miller's denial of their love any longer. And this situation had been going on for a while. All of a sudden, the miller made an important decision. That is... The miller bereft his daughter. The miller picked up his satisfied candidate among his daughter's followers and announced his decision for her. The miller, who thinks he has arranged a good marriage. Naturally, his special generosity makes the acquaintances of the tavern extremely enthusiastic. They made the decision to kill the miller that night. They were supposed to escape overnight after they finished, but the snow and another accident forced them to change their plan. After the miller went out, Hans tried a hanging knot with the safety rope and pull them down from the third floor maintenance basket. By the way, the knot method was used by the hanged murderers is also that of a knot. Thank you for that. Their original plan might have been for Elena to meet with the miller on the first floor, put the knot hanging from the windmill around his neck, then pull the knot to send a signal to Hans, and let him pull the rope to hang the miller. But even the calmest people may be betrayed by their actions when they kill for the first time. At about 10 o'clock... Why did I get so shouty all of a sudden? At about 10 o'clock, Hans, who was too nervous and loosened the rope in his hand, he dropped the knot in the snow, leaving the circular imprint. Look at that face. Elena, who had just opened the door and was ready to greet her father, saw the knot fall to the ground and wanted to warn Hans to take it back, but the miller had been very close. It would attract the miller's attention if the knot was taken back. The murder would have failed in that way, but by sheer coincidence, the miller took a step that changed the whole thing. He stepped into the ring by accident. At this time, Hans had just grasped the rope outside the maintenance basket. When the miller's paw moved forward in the snow, the rope was pulled. Yoink. Hans felt the pull and instinctively pulled up the knot according to the original plan, pulling the miller up by his ankle. The miller fell on the snow before he was pulled into the air, leaving the messy marks in the front of his footprints as he struggled. Hans hung the miller in the air, dare not to put him down, and let him struggle in the air. After a moment of struggle and cursing, the face of the mill changed from red to purple. He could not help scratching his chest, and his movement became smaller and smaller until he stopped. Elena and Hans wanted to escape after this comedy of success. That's a good way to describe it. But finally decided to disguise the scene as if the miller had accidentally died and planned their testimonies. After all, as long as they got rid of the suspicion of murder, they can inherit the mill. The reward for taking risks is extremely good. Hans tied the safety rope to the maintenance basket, pretending that it was the miller who tied the rope himself. It had snowed at this time. The rope tied to the fence pushed the snow off the fence. Therefore, there is no snow on the right side of the road. That's right, that's a good detail there. He stuck the windmill gear with a wooden wedge and made the windmill stop spinning. Yeah, that's what that was. As the distant villagers saw the windmill stopped, they would naturally think that the miller accidentally fell and died while repairing the windmill. This morning, it was sunny and windless. The windmill wouldn't even spin without the wooden wedge stuck in. This was his chance to throw the wedge into the bread stove. Bread stove. Okay. Not a barbecue. Bread stove. Got it. Then all he needed was just going back to the room and waiting until dawn. If you don't look closely at the scene, you would think that the miller died by accident. Although it looks intriguing at first, it's actually a novice puzzle with many loopholes. Yeah, thanks. Next time I'll give you the great detective Roman some more difficult puzzles. Even though I kind of stumbled through it. In the inevitable waiting, the detective told everyone his interferences in the tavern, leaving the final decision to the villagers. The snow stopped, the detective opened the door of the snow-covered tavern, stone pavement still covered by thick snow, and the detective set foot on the road. It's late. It seems that there won't be more guests tonight. I'm going to close my business now. If you need anything, please come to the third floor to find me. I'll keep note of that, actually. Sazern. Wait, is that just a Hold on. Sarzan kind of looks like Tavern. Just noticed that. Is that the reasoning for his name? I don't know. Guy gave me an elegant the room keys. Close the tavern and hold on. All right. Let me pause again. Actually. Can you guys hear that in the background? Ah, well. It's just someone doing some exercise in the other room. It's almost time for me to go upstairs. I'm afraid of being locked out by Sarzan if it's too late. There are 3 beds in the attic. You put me in the attic? Okay. Sarzan usually had 2 beds for himself. Only in this way can he have enough space to stretch his limbs. Well, I mean, I know that feeling because I'm super tall. Another bed is usually rented at a low price to the acquaintances who need accommodation with tight budget, such as Anzox, the musician. Wait, what happened to the music? Okay. I think I may have encountered a little glitch where there's like no music. Or it just suddenly went out when I tabbed out screens. Is that a thing? I don't know. Whew. Elegant and I sat at the same round table, staring at each other, speechless. Hold on. So there's just no music now. All right. Is there anything else to do tonight? Wow, I guess not. I was going to have a little relaxation, but I didn't expect to solve a puzzle for the whole evening. I may have a headache. I want to go back to my room and rest. Gulp. Finish the rest of the beer. Oh, great detective. You can really drink a lot. That's not spirit wine. It doesn't matter to have some cups. I pointed to the beer that she only had a sip of in front of her. So, is it your usual reasoning, just like that drunken style? I'm on vacation. It's fine if I didn't work well. I wonder if that changes, based on if you do the thing correctly. With my anger, I approached her in a low voice. What's more, Your choir's attire looks abrupt in the tavern, and you didn't even touch the cider. If you plan to stay here, I'm afraid you will scare away the target of investigation. Uh-oh. Just straight up insulted her, I guess. I see. It's my negligence. Elegant hesitated for a while, then turned to look at me. Thanks for reminding me. Nah, you're welcome. Turned out you are really making an investigation here. Guess I'm right. There's something wrong. Now, it's too late to make change now it's too late to change the costume. Oh, it's a costume? I had to think about how to play it after. Play what? Elegant, who had always been confident, seemed to be timid at this time, and she was gazing on the reflection in her mug. I wonder why. If it's convenient, I like to space a time. Space-time. Do you hear what you're doing here? But it's late. I'll go to bed first. Good night. I said good night to Elegant and went upstairs to my room. My room was the first on the right. Good to know. Unsurprisingly, Sarzan had already cleaned the guest rooms impeccably. Why are the backgrounds so faded out? Maybe I was too drunk. That might be the case. I kicked off my boots and fell on the bed. Woof. Almost dreaming when I touched the pillow. Now, sniffing about. I would say here comes the first real mystery, I would think. I spent like almost 2 hours on that first section. It's a pretty big section there. I seemed to hear a voice coming from downstairs in my dreams. The sound reverberated through the empty hall, as if lying in the cradle when I was a child, hearing my brother humming an unknown lullaby. But the tune of the music had a kind of incongruity that was different from the lullaby. It seems like you open your eyes, find your cradle dangling on the edge of the cliff. The music was played in midnight. It was disturbing, as if something was brewing in the unnoticed corner. Do you want to go downstairs to look? Yeah, go ahead. Let's go downstairs and have a look. It's a little scary, but it's not good to keep it. I can't sleep anyway. Too drunk. Too much beer. I got up, took the dagger out of the inner pocket, hiding it behind myself. Opened the door as slowly as possible. Fortunately, Sarzan, this old bastard, did not forget to oil the hinge. The door opened without making a loud sound. I did not wear shoes. That's filthy. Filthy. Holding the armrest of the stairs slowly down, the paws gently fell on the carpet of the stairs. The music continues. Fortunately, no matter who was downstairs, he had not noticed me. There was no light downstairs. Only the flame of furnace was still beating, and my shadow danced on the wall with the fire of the stairs. I clenched the dagger behind my back and went downstairs. There was a familiar shadow in the chair which was in front of me. How do I stay still or forestall? Well, I guess hanging back might... I don't know. Because if I lunge forward, it might lunge me into danger. Stay still. Hey. I clenched the dagger in case the shadow suddenly attacked me. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the voice lower enough. It's Anzox. Scared the hell out of me. I thought some dacnomania. Dacnomania? That's an interesting word. Came in the middle of the night. The killing in the music section will only appear in small and underground theater. It's like cats being strangled by their intestines. You suck, Anzox. I can't see you still have money to watch the show. I am poor, otherwise I would have rented a room myself. Zarzan lives so regular that sleeping in the same room with him is more uncomfortable than sharing a bed with my parents. Playing to this time every day, you make your roommate suffer. Not really. It's just that something suddenly came to mind today, and I couldn't sleep. He fell back on his chair and looked up at the ceiling. Is it convenient to talk about it? Anzox half opened his mouth, and the first half of the syllable was stopped at the throat. I can't sleep anyway. Why don't you listen to my new story and give me your advice? Like the employees at the slum grain station, he announced to me that he had no room for business. Okay. Rather than snooping and making trouble all day, why not listen to a good story and just, honestly, both all is... Listen to the same thing. Okay. Cough twice. Now then, bad time story. The king woke up in the soft bed of the country house. His first idea is to kill the dragon. He was in a hurry and rode straight to the capital without taking a servant. In the hall of the palace, the king drew his sword. The dragon was sitting on the side of the stolen king's seat and sneering. The king's thin body shuddered behind the heavy armor, but had no intention of retreating. The king sprinted with his sword, but the sword's front turned uncontrollably. Whoop! He lost his balance and fell in front of the throne. Cursing the taboos inwardly. The thief on the throne looked down at him disdainfully. If he hadn't went through the cursed party, by the time he had already trotted over to pick up himself. The king thought in dismay, regretting how he had not been able to see through his disguise. Maybe he should not trust anyone from Dagook. The territory of the poison thorn, where brought up the people who is despicable. Sorry. In fact, long before he drew the sword, he knew he couldn't hurt the guy. No dragon can harm the poisoned person after taking the tears of Envy the Third. I didn't know this is an FMA crossover. Oh, that's some other message. Never mind. It's like an instinct, like a tight band. The king used the sword to support his body and limped out of the palace. The poison of manipulating the mind can only confuse the mind of one person. Defraud a piece of land. But no one can truly deceive the people. The old king was staggering towards the border, and followed him by almost all the nationals of Delaconia. Alright, that's it. You can't get a lot of money by telling this story. Everyone loves hearing stories of justice winning. I'd like to change it to a happy ending, but I don't know why. Every time I'm going to change it, I'll be interrupted by a variety of trifles. The goose feather is broken, the ink lumps, and time to eat. It's going to be interrupted by tiredness this time. We made a yawn at the same time. I'm going back to bed now. Good night. I feel like that story was metaphorical. We went back to the room successfully. Good to know. Okay. Day 2. In the middle of the night, I slept comfortably and did not have any dreams. The first day of the holiday. I will spend my Christmas holiday with a fallen bard and an unknown adventurer in the taverns in the wilderness, and eat vegetarian dishes all day long. It is so extravagant that even the Pope envies such a life. There was a thick snow on the windowsill, but it was already sunny. I held the handrail of the stairs and went down slowly. Here came the sounds of wooden sups knocking on the table from the hall, and the smell of barley spread through the warm air of the fire. Oh, look, more animals. Sure enough, the guests came as soon as it was sunny. I don't know what other voices to do. You are finally awake. I'm so envious, you guys, of you intellectual guys who don't need to wake up early in the morning. It was only during the holiday that I had a chance to get up so late. I scratched my disheveled hair a few times. Ionis, why are you here so early? The tavern's already frozen. Oh, the dock. Sorry. The tavern. The dock's already frozen. I have to stay at home if I do not go to the tavern. I was slapped heavily on the shoulder suddenly. What? What the hell? My hand is about to break. Take good exercise. How do you catch a murderer if you're so weak? Ionis patted me on the shoulder as he spoke. Easy. All right. Are you going to stay here during the Christmas holiday? I thought you wanted to go on a trip or something. Do I actually say hiss or just do a hiss? I don't know. At least I can't travel like this. All my bones are in pain. Strong shark. Maybe one more pat will do better. No. If you patted me to death, Sarzan's business will get worse. Sarzan, speaking of which, was out of the kitchen when Ionis was stretching out his hand. Listen, Ionis. Ionis? Ionis. I'm going to say Ionis. The other one sounds like another word. If you touch anyone again, I will kick you out. The mariners on the pier are all strong, unlike the customers here. For example, Peter. Rabbit. Ha. Hey, don't look down here. Peter, sitting on one side, patted the table and stood up. But it's true. You see, Ionis never dared to hit you. He says as he flexes his muscles. Okay. Well, that's because he can't mess with me. No, that can't be his voice. Well, that's because he can't mess with me. Shall I try it? No, I'm afraid I can't control it and hurt you. Nah, just talk and don't do it. Well, maybe his physique is no worse than yours. I'll just stick with that. Alright. There are some things I don't have to be forced. That don't have to be forced. It is, after all, different races are different. At least everyone in the law is the same. What's the use? I don't need to deal with criminals every day like you. Criminal, okay. And the law is equal or not? Well, that's none of my business. Besides, what else is equal besides the law? And booze money and room charge. The chances of making money on booze are different. Did I read that right? Yeah. As a matter of fact, Kane, you found another job? There's the cow. Yep. A few days ago, the cook of a small restaurant nearby stopped working because of the low salary. I have to go and try my luck. Since he's a hooved and horned guy working on some sort of farm thing. What was it? Small restaurant? Okay. Oh, I skipped a line. I'll just go ahead and read it. I have been failed for too many times. Don't have to rat shoes no more. Take care of your temper. No one dares to hire you if you have another attack. If you can control your temper, perhaps Sarzin will hire you as a kitchen assistant in the busy season. Ugh, that's what I thought, but if keeping my temper as easy as you said, how could I change so many jobs? It's okay. Perfect people don't exist in this world. I'm gonna try and keep playing until the first actual little mystery shows up. I'd better conflirt him. What? I'd better comfort him a bit, unless maybe he was out of control later again. The English Pasteurized Alpha. It's being worked on. Don't make fun of it. Don't be too harsh. I just hope this time everything will be fine. Kane started to drink alone. Sad. Sad cattle. It seems that everyone hasn't changed much. It's the same as last year when I couldn't get a case and spent a lot of time in taverns. The good old days. I worried about the increasingly empty wallet every day at that time. But with the company of friends, life didn't seem to be so sad. What should I do now? Map. Talk. What's on the map? Oh. I can go down to the cellar. Wait, no, I want to go back. I'll go to the restroom and comb my hair. Yeah, that's what you're gonna do. I wet my hands, pose for a better angle to comb my hair carefully to the mirror. Wow, that's a really good drawing, actually. Really good painting there. Falling gray hairs broke in my sight and left continually, leaving it in the wash basin eventually. The season of changing furs has already passed, obviously. Even these falling hairs are grown in the winter. Maybe I need to act accordingly to my own capacity to accept requests next time. It looks like I haven't been so tired that bald because of last month's case. What, you're balding? You're not that old. What happens if I do this? Oh, okay. Back to the kitchen. I raised the board, which separated the counter and the hall, squeezing into the narrow counter. Sometimes I wonder how Zarzan pushes himself into such a small little spot right here. I poked the gunny door curtain. Gunny? Zarzan was leaning the dishes? Organizing the dishes, whatever. He stopped his action and turned to me. Talk. What's the matter, Roman? Elegant still lives here, right? I wonder which room is hers. The third door on the right hand. Thanks. So... cup of ale. I'm a bit thirsty after chatting up the whole morning. Let me fill another cup. Just remind me. Okay, remember to turn off the tap. I took out a mug blindly under the counter and slipped into the cellar. Filling one cup, I sought something following to do with the alcohol. Just as expected, the drink is the lubricant of thinking. Sure. I raised the board which separates the counter and the hall, squeezing into the narrow counter. Starting with cleaning dishes. Oh, cleaning. Yeah, it's supposed to be cleaning dishes. It's just... okay. Back to the hall. Let me continue to chat in the hall. Oh, good, we're back. Okay, so let's talk to the bard. I sat by Anzox and held my cup. Anzox's eyes were bloodshot, and he didn't say a word from the beginning. Seems like he didn't get out of last night's mood. His head dropped slowly. It fell on the table. Seems that it's just a lack of sleep that makes him dull. Anzox? I slowly reached for the loot he was holding. Don't touch my loot! Wow. When the paw touched the loot box, Anzox jumped up. Zarzan was so scared that he ran out of the kitchen with wet dishes. It must have just been someone touched Anzox's loot. I'll head back if you don't have anything. Frightened me to jump. To death. To a death jump. My goodness. Roman, don't touch my loot when I'm unprepared. I didn't know your reaction would be so exaggerated. It was so close. We were both going to be thrown out. What's the matter? Talk more about the cat. About Elegant. Do you have any impression of her? What do you think about her? It seems that she doesn't like to talk. Hey, why do choir guys show up in taverns? I don't think those neurotic guys will come up here. It seems that Anzox was about to sense Elegant's identity. Maybe Zarzan asked her to come over and sing a Christmas carol? I thought too much. Any new songs? Recently? Wait. Is there any new song recently? Uh-oh. They forgot to delete that line. Well. They'll patch it out. Yes. Sounds good. The fee is only 1 silver coin. You're greedier than Sarzan. More about her? No. Same dialogue. Nothing. If you are okay, come here and have a good drink to have a rest. Now to the rabbit. That almost sounds like a Tetris theme. Peter looked at me. Roman, do you think whether fairness really exists? Why are you still struggling with this problem? I think Apollyon is fairer to different races than many parts of the world. Yeah, I'm getting Zootopia vibes here. Look, we are friendly in the same tavern, aren't we? But this is the way it should be. Besides, there are dozens of restaurants and taverns in Rimph, the capital city, you know. Don't you know? Which only serves meat and mammals. Although it's forbidden by law, they always have a way to avoid it. For example, tell the inspectors that there are no herbivore customers today, just because of coincidence, or that today's special is grilled veal. You know, most of the inspectors are herbivores too. Therefore, no matter what reasons are made up, they can muddle through. Oh, there are so many injustices in the world, in life. Why do we pretend not to see them? Apollyon is still young and it will take time to change. It seems that we can't see that day coming. Now let's talk to the shark. How do you breathe above water, by the way? Like, that's what I ponder with most aquatic and amphibian species. Like, if you're above water, but you're known to have like gills and stuff to use to take oxygen from the hydrogen dioxide, how are you breathing right now? Are these just for show? Am I just stalling? I don't know. Let me ask a question in the chat. I held a mug and sat opposite of Ionis. Don't beat my shoulders. Intending to stand up, Ionis took his hand back in the hallway. Halfway. Ionis slowly took his hand back halfway and scratched his hand, embarrassed. Sorry, I'm used to doing that. After all, we greet each other in this way. The custom by the sea is so weird. Yeah, I was just talking about that, yes. Thank you, Roman. What else do you want to know? I'm a little bit curious about how the life by the sea is like. The life by the sea. It's nothing special. Just like you go there for vacations, we also like to find a place without the sea, to let the sea wind, to have a good rest, staying away from the mysterious sea. We have to get accustomed to a life full of terrifying waves by the sea. It is more relaxing to enjoy the inland life instead. After all, we needn't worry that the earth would quake out of the blue and swallow your room. That's not impossible. Have you heard of the earthquake? Any earthquakes? Do you know what it is? The roaring waves happening every day. The earthquake, much less often. You've been already a sailor. Why do you fear the waves so much? He's clenching his fist. The expression in Ionis's face froze suddenly. You don't understand. What else do you want to know? I don't really do the scratchy voices too well. It's been 2 hours, 20 minutes so far. Probably gonna cut it off at the 3-hour mark. Let's see what happens until then. Why not the seaside taverns? Aren't you satisfied with the taverns near there? Why don't you come here Why do you like to come here, far away? Have you gone to those taverns? I came in and had a look when I handled the case. They like hanging some fish hooks and fishing pots on the back wall of the counter. You don't fear that, do you? This is species identity. I think I'm good. That's all. Seems like you didn't drink enough, so your talking material isn't enough either. Yeah, thanks, dude. Over to Country Boy here. I held the mug and sat down the opposite of Kane. It looked like Kane didn't see me. He scooped up a spoon of stew, spoonful right there, and poured them back into the bowls. I can't blame Tarzan. But what? Stopping his hands, Kane looked up at me. Nothing, just feeling Tarzan's cooking skills. I don't think it's too bad. Indeed, the dish can't be cooked more delicious for a cook who is a carnivorous animal. Other carnivorous friends will taste anything weird. Although, this sentence has a little species discriminatory. I still need to say that herbivorous animals like. How am I gonna? Alright. I know how to read this. I still need to say that herbivores have the ability to cook more delectable vegetarian foods. I can hear the screaming from the radish when it's cooked incorrectly. It's raw. Our relationship isn't that bad, is it? Of course. In this case, I'd like to ask, could you please answer me without anger? How could I be angry with you? Come on. Come with it. Well, do you have some unique feelings when you cook steaks? As expected, this is a question which every carnivorous animal is interested in. Gosh, I want to know why. How do you think of wolfmen? You know, wolf and men together. Not like you, I mean those walking on 4 legs. There is a wolf head as a wall hanging in my old living room. I don't have much understanding except this. Are you implying that you, like, hunted a werewolf and mounted its head after killing it? Wait, really? Hanging a wolf head on your wall is okay. What? Are we talking about an actual wolf? An actual being? So broiling a steak isn't weird at all for me. So, like, is there some in-between species between the anthro and the feral? That's interesting. After all, that's not the meat of bull men like me. I think that's everyone. Always went up to the kitchen. That's it. Up the stairs, I guess. To... No one in the corridor. Let's go over to her room. I knocked on the door of the third room on the right hand. Who is it? It's me, Roman. What's the matter? purpose of disguising. Just asking a question in passing. Huh? Ooh. Pretty kitty. No wonder she's called Elegant. Elegant opened the door, stood behind the door, standing close behind. I guess that's how you would read it, yeah. And looked at me in this way. Also, her hand didn't leave the handle yet. She's suspicious. Hiding privacy. I wonder why you dress like that. I asked in a low voice. Rolling her eyes. Do you wonder the reason which I dress like this? Or is there another goal to your question? Or question the goal? Both? Elegant stood away for a bit, leaving an entryway which only let me enter on my side. Should I come in? She didn't look like she wanted to welcome me at all, according to her body language. Would you like to talk a secret without an individual circumstance? You know the new two of the door, don't you? The new two on the downstairs. That's what I meant to say. She moved back again. She shut the door as soon as I slipped into the room. They are regular guests. Maybe we don't need to guard to them too much. Perhaps they have a good appearance in this tavern, but who knows what goes on outside. Also, you have seen through my mask. So I don't need to hide anymore. The situation they're in, it's different. Besides, I only trust Sarzan and you for now. Ah, I didn't realize I was also included. That's my great pleasure. Anyway, I do trust you this time for your relationship with Sarzan. I became connected eventually. In fact, it's not a great event, merely. I got a big job, important job in the last tavern. You need to remind me to share details with that next time. It could be considerable if you can accept the 10 and 90 ratios. A 10-90 ratio, okay. I get the bigger one. Elegant cleared her throat, passing the topic on. Do you know the St. Isaac Church? What's that? The church which is spelt in the typical. The column suddenly collapsed 12 years ago. Well, I guess it's not that typical then. The noble brothers who were supervising the construction site, the elder is called Brando, and the younger is called Jonathan. They were buried under the upright post. A young friar chanced to report to the abbot, blamed that the brothers skimped laborers' food and filled their wallets through switching to inferior stone. Switching to inferior stone. Okay. So the story proved to be the perfect example to persuade others to donate. The scourge always frightens everyone dearly. As long as it leads to avoiding going to hell, people are willing to dedicate everything. A young friar chanced to report to the abbot, blamed that this brother skimped laborers' food and filled their pockets through switching the stone. Was that out of order? I feel like... Yeah, this is the same thing. Okay, that's weird. Did someone request you investigate the case? Yes, I found a place to rest just now. Next thing is preparing and considering how to sneak into the Covenant. Didn't tell your clients to come here, did they? Didn't tell your clients to come here, did they? Of course, our adventurers will get the settled tavern ready in advance. Tavern owners from the various region also contact each other and exchange information through adventures. But why did someone spend heavily so much to investigate a past case which has nothing to do with himself? I don't know, and I don't care. Take it over, carry it out, accept the reward. That's enough. It is in these people's secret why they want to do it. Elegant said and went to the door. It seemed that the following part was also her secret, too. The cat opened the door and looked back to me. Well, sorry to bother you. I left quickly and sensibly. Then the door was closed behind me. Okay, let's go to the attic. The attic was Zarzan's room. Frugal and Zox also lived there temporarily. There weren't any stairs between the second floor. American? The American second floor? Or American style second floor? Or what is that detail? Okay. With the attic, relied on a ladder up and down. The 3D ladder right here. Hid on the attic usually, using a rope to connect the top floor of the ladder with the pulley of the ceiling, then hang down to the second floor. The rope twined on the wooden handle, which is set between the second and third room on the left to fit. The ladder would drop down if someone loses the rope when he or she needs to go upstairs. They were not there. It's impolite to enter without any permission. So, downstairs? Let me save where I am for now. Gonna take another bathroom break. Hold on. Okay, let's keep going. I hope I'm not losing any steam. And this is being archived for later. So. Yeah, I already know about that. Let me read that again. So, there's just a ladder and the rope would drop down. Someone needs to go upstairs. Can't go up there. Corridor. No one there. Go back downstairs to the hall. It's nearly time to have lunch. Let's have lunch. Smells like the stew. There is a piece of good news and a little bit of bad news too. The good news is Kane burst into and bossed about the kitchen today. Alright. He had cooked the stew before it was thrown out by me. Also, this oh, it's a buffalo. Well, I said cattle. Buffalo. Similar animals, kind of. You think I would know better as someone with a hooved a fursona. He will show you what the real stew is. The bad news is, today's lunch is stew. Even without any smoked fish. Sorry you ate them up yesterday. Have a good meal. That sounds kind of insulting. I mixed the stew by a spoon, and the sticky soup rolled up a vortex in the bowl. Ionis was holding the bowl with his face while his face was touching the rim of the bowl and dumping the liquid into his mouth. Gulp. Sometimes I really worry he will suffer from indigestion. What? No. Hot food's good for your belly. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Cain tasted his great works contently, without any hesitation, even glanced at by me secretly from time to time. I lowered my head immediately and had a few bites. It is suitable to relax by the stove in such an afternoon. The snow is heavier outside, so Zarzan needs to sweep the snowflakes, which were blown from the crack of the door. Gotta keep out all those snowflakes. Soft snow heaped on the street, which showed such snowy days are always quieter than usual, just like blocked up ears by the cotton as soft as snow. Not sure what that metaphor means. The external dispute can't spread into ears. The noise in the brain can't spread apart. Okay. The fresh air with a slight sweet, which only can smell during the winter, lingers in the nose. The cloud, with floated snow, tapped the wooden door to leave a narrow gap, with a chunk of sunshine, with a glimmer, a chunk of little sunshine, through the gap and drift on the wall. I don't like that word. Suddenly, the door opened. It's a dragon. It's so cold outside, a hot drink warm. No, that's not his voice. It's so cold outside. A hot drink to warm, please. The quest... Who opened the quest? The request? Yeah. It was a white furry dragon dragging a suitcase as large as 1/3 of its owner. How would children come here in such a snowy day? Well, hurry up. Come on in and have a rest. Well, I am not a child. Have you seen a child be a doctor? He brought out a medical license from his pocket, waving his arm in front of Zarzan's nose to show off. I like him already. Wow, didn't expect that. Please forgive me for being rude. I am so tired of paying a home visit just now. Just stay here until the snow passes. Thank you for your work. Let me help you to carry the case. Please warm your body by the stove. Zarzan carried the case to the corner with a laborious expression. Laborious. That's what I meant. What the heck is this? Too heavy. What the heck is this? It's too heavy. The dragon took off the thick and heavy coat, jumped on the chair, and sat opposite to me with a sigh of full contentment. Greetings. Greetings. I am Thrivey, a visiting doctor. He rose slightly and stretched out his right hand while I held my chair, to do the same with him. Greetings. I am Roman. Maybe I will be your patient in the future, all in all. Nice to meet you. His lips convulse lightly. I hope that day never comes. I hope that day never comes. His hands were covered by the white and soft fur, by the soft white fur from palm to back of the hand. from his palms to the back of his hands. Yeah. The tiny snow, which was brought from the outside, was melting on his fur. Just like an alive character from the sign of this White Star Tavern. But then where am I? I never passed by here. Even this time I was attracted by the light lamp. The lighted lamp. This is Tavern White Star. The white dragon looked up at me with confusing eyes continually. In Block Villa? Crossing a whole block? Well, it really isn't expected to get lost this time. He shrugged his shoulders and looked around. Someone fall down? After a gale, the door shook violently and gave Blizzard access. Uh-oh, Blizzard's getting access to us. Hide your info. To the inside of the room, the falling snowflakes flew up and down with the invaded storm. At the same time, someone cursed loudly in the cellar. Mind your language. This is a Screw you. I'm not a child. The gale howling outside. If someone wanted to go out, you must be mad or wanting to attempt suicide. Shutting the door, such an easy task without any strength, even became much harder than usual in this situation. The snow from the crack invaded into my eyes and nose. I shut the doors heavily, with a few chokes. What, like that? I don't know. Then found a chair to block it up. Phew. Only sitting down for a second, a piercing scream, oh my, which caused by pulling the hinge violently, came out behind me again. What the? Bonk. There was a lying hyena. Oh, you know, the normal kind. Who was covered with a hood and rode tightly. This is a tavern. I just want to shelter from the freezing weather without a cup of drink. Is that okay? I tried to do South African accent right there. Yeah, it didn't sound good, I think. Oh well. He got up confoundedly and asked for me. I shrugged as an answer, as you do, and pointed to the cellar, which made crashes from time to time. Crunch, crunch. I'm not the boss. I can't call the shots there. Well, as long as the owner holds a little bit of kindness. That is not South African at all. What am I doing? He won't drive me out, right? He took off the robe on the back of the chair. He took off the robe and placed it on the back of the chair. Whatever. Kicking against the table leg to lean back. The partially suspended chair made a groan because of the pressure. Sorry to keep you waiting. Are we going to leave so quickly, Doctor? Sarzan went up from the downstairs with mugs in his hands while Thrivey, I like that name, Thrivey, was getting up from his chair. I'm not feeling well and want to find a place to rest. Do you have any available rooms? How strange. Thrivey looked just fine seconds ago, and now he looks pale and weak. Let me think. I haven't cleaned the other rooms yet, otherwise you can go to the attic to have a rest. Thrivey walked upstairs quickly, refusing the cup Sarzan passed politely. Thank you, but I feel queasy. So permit me to refuse, or I'm afraid I'll vomit. It don't waste such good alcohol. Sarzan stared at the hyena in surprise, while the latter was taking the beer without any hesitation and intended to drink. Oh, hold on. You're a friar, aren't you? Perhaps he is also a pretender like Elegant. Compared to rigorous dogmas. Don't waste any food given by God is a noble. Don't waste any food given by God. It's a noble virtue. Nobler virtue. There we go. Well, how can I address you? Zarzan crossed out a whole line on the bill by his fingers with carbon dust, then added a few words. It seems like you don't go to church for only weekends, or you'll know my name. I really want to go, but there is only so much. There is only me to manage this tavern and can't leave. With an undetected frown, Zarzan turned back and walked into the kitchen. I suppose that he would stay there for a long while. Oh, I remember. I remember. I have something to do. Good, but what else is more important than rescuing your soul? Don't hurry to leave. At the oh, that's that little. That's what that thing is. It's that little symbol I couldn't figure out. That thing cross. At the moment I touched the stair railing, the hyena held my hand down slowly with a smile. The blink of the cross, which hung on his chest, was dazzling. Well, I missed the escape round. This is a round of D&D, isn't it? A child, what is your name? It seems like I never see you in my mission room. I'm not in this parish. That doesn't matter. Even though we are from different parishes, all of us are in the same family. I'm Heron, the priest. Nice to meet you. I stretched three fingers, shaking his hand, which was stiff in the air for a while. Sniff in the air for a while? I'm Roman. Nice to... He interrupted me before I was going to say the first word and began to make a speech without any pause, shaking his hands in the air at all times. Okay. Do you know what does the world where we will go after death looks like? I'm sure you never think about it. How to settle your audiences to sleep. The first chapter. Asking a question and answering yourself. No. Let me answer the question hidden in your heart for so long. After we die, the soul which cannot be saved After we die, those souls which cannot be saved in time will burn in hell forever. No, only yours will. Wow, what a comeback. Sounds scary. However, there is a way to avoid suffering. To accept beliefs? It sounds really convenient. Ah, shit. This sentence was supposed to be just my thought. Exactly. In this case, why not coming with me to this thorny road early? Because there are many thorns. Seems like a thorny guy. Yeah. Just because of these difficulties and hardships, our pilgrimage will become vital, getting the best chance to show the God who loves our firm belief. Since the gods love us, why he still poses so many obstacles for us? What do you think? Oh wait, that was supposed to be him. Well, since God loves us so much, why does he pose so many obstacles? We made some mistakes, so it is reasonable to punish us. If God really loves us, why does he remind us of avoiding mistakes before we become a sinner? Why doesn't he do that, huh? Waiting for our mistake and punishing us. Such a God must be tyrannical. A tyrant. Hieranism. Heron's hair stood, keeping his voice down and speaking with a calm intonation on purpose. I think you haven't prepared to start the right path. Please consult me later if you change your mind. I went upstairs quickly when he loosened his hand, which was holding me. Finally, I understood why Sarzan stayed in his cavern? No, at his tavern, alone rather than go to the church on Sunday. Thrivey stood in the corridor and looked up at the ceiling blankly. How do you put the ladder down? Don't worry, leave it to me. I went ahead and untied the knot step by step. This white dragon watched me untie the strings from the wooden handle quietly beside me. Okay, I got it. Next step is just, release the rope slowly. I put the ropes down step by step. The ladder dropped slowly with a squeak from the pulleys. Finally, the ladder descended between the two of us. I see. Thank you. It seems like you are familiar with this place. I am a regular customer, so it's not hard. The white dragon caught hold of the handrail of the ladder and tried his best to stretch his body so that he can find the next step. The space of this ladder was suitable for Sarzan exactly, but it was still a little large for this guy, this small boy. The nightstand was half open. Opened very slightly. I went ahead quickly, pulling open the drawer, and began to search. The wallet was saved. Magnifying glasses were laying in fleece bags. Those evidence from crime scenes. I picked up the upper sundries out of the drawer and explored further along the gaps between the items. I also found $20 and a whole GameCube. What? Finally, my finger felt a cold and hard thing across linens from items tier and tier. Luckily, there it is. I put the evidence along sundries and slipped into the drawer again, but there was not any lock, unfortunately. The price must rise too much if Sarzan set a lock for that. Just make a daydream. Just a daydream, I guess. Without anything lost, but the drawer wouldn't open automatically. In fact, those who have access to our room after lunch only despise two. Who didn't have a chance to enter my room after lunch? Would be that is a good question. Because, like, have any clues for this? Okay. Let's go over this stuff again. So. I'm a detective. So he was on the first room on the right. He was busy in the cellar. He was passed out, I think. She was hiding. So we're worried about these two. Really talkative. Trying to... Oh. That's interesting. So... maybe... Sarzan managed everything all the time on the downstairs, which didn't have time to go upstairs now, excluded. Heron. He chattered without a stop in front of me all the time, although the expression he gave me was kind of bad. He was not the suspect. As for the rest of the people, I need more investigation. Who was in his room? I locked the door and went downstairs. Ah, it's your new guy. Well, what else would you like to order? That's enough. Thank you for the warm reception. A lynx, who came in for a moment, passed to Heron by the side of the coat. By the side of him, a coat which was taken off just now spontaneously. What are you doing? I'm not a waiter. Zarzan took it over with both hands immediately, hanging it over the hangers, which were going to fall respectively. Heron then threw the coat to our tavern keeper, then walked by the stove and sat down directly. His hair appeared a little warped. The lynx walked to my side while I was tidying his dress. Who was doing that? While he was tidying his dress carefully. His clothes? Okay. Meeting me near the stairs. Hello! Just call me Vincel. He brought something from the pocket of his top coat, which was designed as puff sleeves, and passed it to me. That is a scroll in finger size, the size of a finger. Painting a layer varnish on the canter wood core, and having smooth paper. Okay. Ah. You didn't translate that, did you? I only know some of these characters. Wo da 21 2. No wonder. These are money-making jobs. You might want to translate that later. Just a hint. I am Roman, a detective that lives here for now. May I have your way of contact, if it is convenient for you? I am afraid if there are affairs about which I must depend on you. It's such a pity I've never done things like this. I squeezed the scroll in my pocket and wiped the sweat off my hand from the suit. Did I read that right? Wiped out the sweat on my hand on the suit. Wait, on his suit or whatever. Ask me for my address if your luggage is set in position. What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. I let out the room for Vincel to go upstairs, and Zarzan followed him with his luggage. Oh, he's going into the room with the luggage. Okay. The people nowadays, Heron murmured when turned to me. Yeah, that's fine. It's just a little piece of paper, thorn. It's just a piece of little thorn in the way of redemption. Oh, you. Heron's words lumped in his throat at the sight of Zarzan going downstairs, sorry. I'll prepare dinner. Feel free to chat. Zarzan lifted the curtain and went into the kitchen, with his waist bent, leaving me and Heron in the hall, not knowing whether we should go. I stood up in a movement, as little as I could, considering about the excuse to free myself. I'm going to leave an address for him. We can talk next time. I rushed to the stairs before he could realize it. Vincel stood at the door of his room. Such a coincidence to have Mr. Vincel right next to my room. I thought you would stay in the suite at the end of the corridor. Oh, I like the organ in this piece. They're all the same, for I don't have much luggage with me. He stepped outside the door and propped on it. In mentioning me, in with the constant mild look on his face. Here you are, just right here. I accepted the sharpened quill and got down the address of my office on the paper he gave me. Though named office, it was just the parlor of the flat that I rented. If the client came without a reservation, he will be shocked by the very cozy atmosphere. Sometimes I would be too fatigued to put away cups and dishes on the desk. There are times where I shocked my clients away. He put the script in the pocket where he put the scroll, then said goodbye to me in a smile. His room was not filled with the mixture of fragrance of all kinds of spices, as per my imagination. Maybe only sheep spice shops on the old streets will leave spices in the open. The snow was still heavy. Kane turned to the lock firm and clapped his hands. So lucky it's the holiday, so I don't need to be in a hurry going back. Why not stay here until the snow is lighter? Just take it as accompanying me. Oh, buzz off. I didn't mean to be with you. I told you not to come in when I have my door locked out during the night. God, that's too ruthless. It was you who didn't treat me a cup of ale after solving a case. Okay, look. I'll treat you soon. Alright, I'll treat you soon. So is it ale or me that you like? Well, I asked. The ale, of course. Who's gonna treat some ale? Ionis came from the door at the end of the corridor. You made a pile? How come you can pay for all how come you can pay for the luxury suite? I don't have to pay if I don't stay until night. Huh, no wonder. We walked downstairs one by one. So I do really like all the little animations and the character detail and art and all that. While the backgrounds are all blurred and stuff, I mean, it's fine. You know, it's very good to look at from a distance, I would say. I would tweak the English translation a little bit more. I'm trying to figure out, like, when the actual murder mystery case will begin so I can have a little stopping point. Because it's been 3 hours so far. I don't know. I don't know anything about pacing. Whatever. I told you not to enter the kitchen. I'm busy. Sarzan looked out of the door curtain. But isn't the redemption of the soul more... So don't have a meal, but have redemption in the evening. You shouldn't expect everyone to be as pious as you. I took the seat beside Heron. He gave some room for me. You've done everything you can. I haven't done my endeavor if I haven't converted everyone. Everyone here is a pious believer. If it had made you remember going to church on Sundays. I would pay for criminals coming round if they don't commit crimes on Sundays. The reason for it is too many people's impiousness. I didn't know that was a word. Okay. But, you know, Mr. Heron, praying won't solve everything. Yes, we the non-churchgoers must be depended on to solve such things. Unnoticed, Elegant had already came downstairs and was reaching for a seat across the table to Heron. If not tamed by morality, those who fight against injustice will fall degenerate like them. Aren't you the priests facing the evil things of the world? Aren't you priests facing the evil things of the world? To delay your degeneration, I advise you not have conflict with we, the evil ones. Ah, you. Why not stop to have your supper? Sarzin threw 2 bowls of carrot stew to me and Heron. Ah, yes, carrot stew, as he promised. The soup overflowed from the bowl and spread onto the soup handle. Bon appetit. When he served the stew to Vincel, it was refused by a hasty wave of the hand, so he served the stew to Elegant. Oh, what a bad attitude! Seems I was affected too.
Bon appetit.
Hey, don't imitate it. Okay. It was getting dark. Snow piled on the windowsill and the front door, and the pavement was unseen from the windows. Enzox played in snatches of melody in the corner, drowsily, just like every bard stuck in inns by heavy snow. Stuck in inns, that's a little difficult to say. Oh, we got the whole squad here. Maybe we have to stay overnight there. Do I have to change? Do I have the time to change to a smaller room so you can spare some money for ale? Fewer ale for a longer life. Do you know where all the places without ale are? Do you know where all the places are without ale? Jail and hell. That's why I come to the tavern. This is the furthest place from jail and hell. Yeah, tell that to the little hyena there. Ionis took the seat in front of the counter with his nail scratching the surface. The charge is okay. In such a weather, every guest counts. Sarzin pushed the cup to Ionis through the counter. Enjoy the ale. You couldn't pay for the counter if you had damaged it. Knock. Hello? Hello? A muffled voice came from behind the door. Someone's beating on that kick drum. Hello? Is there anyone in the room? Continual knocks came through the snow-buried door. Attracting everyone's sight. The snow was almost higher than people. Taller, I think. It was almost taller than the people. Who will be knocking at the door at such a time? Everyone kept silent. Unconsciously, Ionis moved in front of the candle to shade it. Hello? Our cart was stuck in the snow. How many people are with you? Sarzin touched under the counter, opened the partition, and squeezed himself out from the counter, with his left hand concealed in the coat.
3. It's okay if the inn is full. We just need somewhere we can pass the night.
I can see only one. Sarzin strove to open the door as a gap to see one's coming in.
There's still 2 in the cart.
Come in. Sarzin pushed the door wider, then a thin figure staggered into the house with a gust of snowstorm. Goats. Oh, thank God! The wheel stuck in the mud. Then our 2 horses broke their legs. It's still so weird to see, like... This is very realistically Goat Man, but also he uses feral horses to pull the cart. Furries. We don't know what to do without seeing the light from her... Sorry. There's a little tickle in my throat. We didn't know what to do until we saw the light from your sign. Thank me later. I'll get your partners in. Me too. They took their coats and went out to the door, following the footprints before. Ionis's coat seemingly didn't fit him well. Oh, phew. Is there anything to warm me up? The goat patted the snow off the coat and shuffled to the fire. It must be cold outside for you shivering all the way. It's too cold for being near the capital. What a back country. By the way, my name is Sean. You'd think he'd be a sheep. I'm Roman. Nice to meet you. I wasn't willing to shake hands with him, for his hands must be just so cold. Luckily, he didn't bother to reach out his hand. Sarzan opened the door and supported two men wrapped firmly with thick coats in. He left them by the fireplace to pour ale for them. Oh. Well, you said... Okay. I think you meant two people. Wait, would you use the word people? Well, you used the word person before. Alright. Let's hope this wraps up soon. I kind of need to get some stuff done. Well, that's not true. I don't need to hurry that much. Here you are. Drink it to warm yourselves. Ines took the luggage in and put the tastes like Coke back to the coat rack. Until then, I didn't notice it was my coat. I'm afraid you may not be the guest for the usual time for our tavern.
Yeah, it's not the usual time, so you know how you should behave.
Just take it easy. I'll try my best to provide the best service. May I know your names, please? God, why are there so many characters? I don't know if I can voice them all. Lunik Harlock. This is my wife, Solar Harlock. With the cloak removed, amber-colored eyes of the Grey Wolf emerged from shadows. Ice grains were falling down from his messy but glossy fur. Would it be grains or crumbs or speckles? I wonder if you remember me. Yes, most certainly you're the respective detective. Yeah, that's a good rhyme there. Who solved a crucial case for us, monsieur? Roman. Oh yeah, Roman. It had almost slipped out of my memory. He turned back to take off the coat, the clack, from his wife, and their servant goat caught the two cloaks and... Yeah, it should be cloak. Yeah. He turned back to take off the cloak from his wife, for his wife, and then their servant goat caught the two cloaks and stood aside like a man-shaped coat rack. Great eminences. Great eminences have short memories. You disappeared right behind him. Your room is ready, though not as luxurious as your hotels before. It must be clean and tidy. No need to mention, it must be staying in the double suite at the end of the corridor. Why does it keep updating? Interesting. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. That's not right. Sheep and goat aren't necessarily the same character in Chinese. So that's weird. I mean, is it? I don't know. I would figure it would be a different word. Okay.
Well, remember to paste the heel of the shoe back for me. The snow broth seemed to have loosened it.
Snow broth. Zarzan walked ahead with a suitcase in each hand and a candler coiled by his tail. See, this is why furries have tails, just for this purpose, really. The Marquis and the Marquise followed him. Kane was in front of the counter, watching them go upstairs and fiddling with his pendant. Seems Kane's pendant never was apart from him. Had never been apart from him, though the color and scratches on it meant it won't be so valuable. Zarzan came downstairs. Is there anyone whose room is not settled?
Like me?
Oh, so there's no room for you, but luckily there is a big suite for the Marquis' servant. There was an amusing expression on Heron's face. After all, the warriors of God must keep away from worldly pleasure which weakens them, maybe including staying overnight in the inn's big suite.
Indeed, from my point of view, yes.
So, I think it's all right. Vincel and Thrivey came downstairs one after another. Thrivey came straight to the counter, took a seat beside Kane and Ionis, and read his book just like in his own little world. Before I could notice it, Kane had picked the pendant off his neck, strode upstairs swinging the pendant with the string of it twined between his index finger and thumb. It's boisterous, right? It's rare to see so many people gather here. How about some game? Zarzan took flannel from under the table and spread it across the table. If anyone is not willing, he may go upstairs to have his own fun.
Wink.
Sean propped his hands upon the table for a while and finally left.
I must keep an eye on the behest of Marquis.
Don't idle and play with us. Oh, yes, sure. I'm coming. All right. I sat by the makeshift card table. Oh no, am I gonna have to play poker? I mean, I'm not bad at poker. I didn't expect that. Okay, Zarzan put out 4 cards and put them in line. First, let's have a simple game to warm up. What about guessing the suits? Oh, okay. It's like a magic trick or something. No problem. First, I'll pick out 4 cards with different suits. L'Angle, Blade, Chalice, Garen. Langlo, Blade, Chalice, Garen. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's get started. Alright. First, guess which one is the Lang. What is this word? It's like those old English words that you never use. 1 to 4. I mean, I didn't see how it was shuffled, so this is just a random guess. I picked the 3rd card. It was not the Langle. Damn it. Seems that I was wrong. Okay. Which one is the Blade? They're all the same size. Man. Okay. I picked the 2nd card. It was not the Blade. What is the point of this other than random guessing? After 2 rounds, my change nearly run out. Bad luck. Thanks. I got the achievement for really bad luck. Heron concentrated his attention on watching the gamble aside. Even I couldn't distinguish that he was watching critically or enjoyably. Let me fill my wallet. Then it's time for a showdown. Don't escape in this. Don't run away, dude. We'll wait and see. I will make my money all back at once. Oh, please. Bad end. Bad end. Elgin stood on the stairs, raised her veil, and laughed at me. I wonder if that's just like a random sequence, or if it was like a pre-planned sequence for that part of the thing. It'd be interesting to see how that was programmed. What do you want? If no, there is a round waiting for me.
I do, and it's about that thing.
She was close to the wall and backed off to the door of her room and opened the door.
Do you need to act so mysteriously?
Very necessary. She shut the door behind me.
Do you take a bell with you?
What?
It can wait.
It's in a... Before she could speak a whole sentence.
Bang! Bang!
With a crisp sound. Bang! The second one. Bang! The third one echoed in the tavern with a hoarse roar. Horses don't roar. Duh. Sorry. Okay. Last pun I'll make all night. All right. What's that? Don't worry. I guess it's just caused by Kane's temper. He will calm down soon, then cried and blamed himself for a whole night. Ugh. So what? Let's just continue. I doubt something has happened. Going out for a look is necessary. You don't need to stop before you finish talking. Don't let me die of curiosity, please. Well, in a word. Bang! Boom, a deep sound. The sound became different from just now. That something heavy fell to the ground. Something that weighed like a man. What happened? The door was closed, bouncing into the wall. An elegant was behind me. The sound was spread from the opposite from Kane's room. There we go. The handle can't be turned. We were locked out. Boom. I thumped, pushed, kicked with all my strength, but the door was locked still. Sean ran from the double room in a hurry, taking a handkerchief in one hand.
What happened?
Kane is in the room, and we don't know what happened to him. And now the door is also locked. Locked? Sarson rushed from the stairs when he heard that, crowded up against the other quests on the stairs. Why do you keep using the word quest? I think you mean guess. Crowded up against the other guests on the stairs to bring his keys.
We can't wait.
Must be raging. Sean stepped back a bit, bent his head down, and rushed to the door with his head... Oh, he's gonna do the little billy goat charge. Okay. Conk! My eyes fell to black out of the blue. The window closed with an airless environment. The sound of chopping breaths and sobbing accumulated gradually. A scream was burst by the ears, and cannot leave for a long while. Country boy, no! My sight returned gradually with the... Oh, he's been like stabbed. My God. My sight returned gradually with enough clear vision to identify the shape of the items. Wooden cups and copper candlesticks were laid on the ground. Dull red liquid was pulling down on the chair. The flow dripped along the back of the chair with a rising rust smell which can't be dispersed. Kane was sitting on the chair, just like sleeping. If we ignore the knife which was thrust into his chest. Yep, that's right where the heart is. The blood was rising, tile belittled, blossoming a red cottage paisley along the curve. We were just standing in a daze while the rest of Kane's temperature was dissipated from all kinds of hole on his body, until the last breath of life separated itself from the remains and fell to the sky. That was a little bit garbled, but it was very poetic. I give you props. Just like someone stumbled and saw his crock, wood fell down to the ground without a movement to try catching it. I thought I've already witnessed all the murder scenes I've seen. I thought I've already witnessed all the murder scenes I needed to see. Wouldn't be touched by my emotions anymore by a dead body. Until Kane's body, which began to become rigid, showing from his face in front of me. The familiar smell from my friend, which mixed the humid, smelly one from blood and murder, I guess, and death, which began exclusively to the dead, as, made me feel strange, especially. Alright. Sirloin. Sirloin. I got the achievement called Sirloin. Well, yeah. I feel the same way, Enzox. Save. Hurry to save him. We have to save him. Sarzan tried bursting into the room, but was stopped by Enzox and Sean by the side. Why? Why did this have to happen in my tavern? Who did it? Admit it right now. Sarzan's body bent forward and those buck teeth were exposed out of the lip, which usually hid them. A pair of dragon wings spread angrily, just in pure anger, nearly struggled to free themselves from grindings. Oh, they're like tapered right here. The persona, which acted as a mild giant lizard, was taken off. He looks like an evil dragon which was invaded, whose den was invaded, to glare at everyone, including me. Don't glare at me. I'm also sad because of Kane's death, but now I don't know who did it either. Then find him out. Sure. Let's find the murderer. If I refuse, he'd be like, really, dude? Really? You're the only detective here? And you can't solve a murder? Get out of my tavern. Well, I will try my best. Thanks. It's very important to me. Sarzan recovered his buck teeth slowly. Recoiled, I guess, would be a better term for that. I don't know. Those tilted scales were closed to cover the rough skin. I hope all the guests to accept and cooperate with Roman in his investigation in order to end this case early. He threw the keys to me and paced to go downstairs with a stood figure. I remember there was also another key set in the attic. Maybe have a look down there later. Well, it's time to do something. I can help you search this body, Check it out. If you don't want to face him so soon. Thank you very much. I usually only treat alive patients. I only give treatment to patients that are still alive, but now the situation really is unique. That's fine. Investigate someplace else. Investigate someplace else for now. Come back if you have anything. Come back if you finish later. With this, he turned back to tighten his medical gloves onto his hands to prepare the search. Search start. Stand power. Uh-oh. We have a stand now? Alright. Well, looks like he has this little plague mask. That's cute. But we'll go ahead and save there. And I believe we'll head back to the title. Alright. Good stream for now. So far, I like the direction this is going. This is a good mystery. I don't want to complain too much about the English translation. It does get a little bit in the way of, really getting into this mystery story, but, I don't know. I know it's hard to translate it into English and stuff. So, let's go ahead and end it off here. I'll do a little highlights video later before the end of the month. And then, that'll be it. So, thanks all for sharing this time with me. It's a really long stream, 3.5 hours. But, let's do something else for now. You know, have some lunch, I guess. My next video will probably either be a vlog of when I went to Shanghai Disneyland. Might have another review coming up for a little web series. Little known web series, but some people know about it. It's really good. That's why I want to highlight it. So, that'll be it for this stream. Take care, everyone.